Hello, today we are here to discuss the overturning of Roe versus Wade and the benefits of this decision. President Ronald Reagan was quoted during a pro-life rally that America was founded on the moral proposition that all human life is sacred. This proposition is the bedrock of our national life and the foundation of our laws. It is the wellspring of our Constitution. In this discussion, we will speak to how the Constitution does not support Roe versus Wade through the 14th Amendment, which protects the lives of the unborn and states that no state shall deprive any person of life. Since abortion has been legalized, more than 60 million children have lost their lives to abortion. In order to address and discuss the role of the Constitution in Roe versus Wade, and the overturning of this ruling, we must understand the constitutional statement regarding abortion. The 14th Amendment, that was deemed to not be upheld when the decision of Roe versus Wade, states that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any to any person within its jurisdiction to the equal protection of the laws. The right to privacy is implied due to the statement of the inability to deprive a person of liberty. During the trial of Roe versus Wade, Roe states that Texas anti-abortion laws are impeding on her right to privacy and therefore her right to terminate her pregnancy. The overturning is based heavily on the stated misinterpretation of the constitutional rights as the right to life supersedes the right to privacy. This overturning implies that life begins at conception and that we are not to impede the right to live. Abortion is not a part of our nation's history. The Constitution does not support Roe versus Wade. Any right mentioned in the Constitution must be deeply rooted in the nation's history and tradition. Abortion is not a part of the Constitution, nor is it rooted in our United States history. When the 14th Amendment was adopted, abortion was prohibited in 3/4 of the states, proving that the amendment does not support abortion. And even after Roe versus Wade was decided on, 30 states still prohibited abortion in the United States. When we consider this overturning, we must understand the moral implications and impact to the fetus. In order to analyze this, we must ensure we understand on multiple levels by comparing abortion to the immoral, non-lethal impairment of a fetus. So, if it is immoral to non-lethally impair a fetus, then it is immoral to lethally impair a fetus. If the consumption of drugs and alcohol in pregnancy is immoral, then it is just as immoral to have an abortion. Therefore, we should ban abortions in order to prevent the ability of a woman to lethally impair the fetus. Though we cannot stop a woman carrying a fetus from utilizing drugs and alcohol during her pregnancy, overturning of Roe versus Wade should be analyzed and considered for what it is. The lethal impairment of a fetus leads to the deprivation of life. As we speak about the fetus, we must also consider fetal rights. Human rights are the promise of a good life through opportunity, adequate health care, and protection. For abortion to occur, the human right of the fetus is violated. The overturning of Roe versus Wade recognizes the fetal rights and the protection of life to the unborn child, giving the decision back to the states in granting legal recognition of the fetus. Federal laws are already in place that protect the rights of the unborn fetus in medical research and in the Unborn Victims of Violence Act. The overturning of Roe versus Wade demonstrates consistency in federal protection of the unborn fetus. Finally, we know that contraception has the ability to prevent almost all unplanned pregnancies. With Roe versus Wade being overturned, the use of contraception and sterility has increased in the United States. Oftentimes, countries with strict abortion laws have higher prevalence of sterility. With this overturning, there has been an increased interest among women on contraceptive methods and other options. It is understood that contraceptive methods are not a one-size-fits-all, but certain methods have a high success rate. There are contraceptive methods available that limit the need for abortions and put safe and responsible practices back on the individual as a basic human right. As we wrap up, proper understanding of the Constitution and our nation's history brings us to understand that a misinterpretation led to the ruling of Roe v. Wade in the original case. Understanding the 14th Amendment leads us to where we are now, with the ability to see that the rights to abortion has nothing to do with the right to privacy. Even if it did, the right to end the life of a fetus supersedes that right. We should be ashamed to encourage non-lethal impairment of the fetus. The overturning of Roe v. Wade leads to a decrease in lethal impairment taking place through the abortion and violation of fetal rights. This overturning puts responsibility back on the individual through use of safe practices and contraceptive methods. Thank you for taking the time to hear our affirmative statement on overturning Roe v. Wade.